you want to see in the seed, Stuart?
Well, I always like to see a decent number of items early, but not items that will let you full clear a dungeon early.
Actually, I do agree with that a lot because you really get to see a lot of what someone's routing is going to be like. Like, are they going to take that risk to go into the dungeon and full clear it, or are they just going to gamble that, they have the items they need from there and just go on to bigger and better things? So that's always interesting to see how people react to those situations.
So we get 5 arrow upgrade from the chest in Link's house. Both runners, Cobb setting up for a tree pull. We getting small magic jars. Both heading in to see Uncle, and then probably heading over to the other chest in there, getting the bloomerang.
Yeah, I definitely like seeing the boomerang pretty early on, just to have that kind of security. If you have to go into like maybe Thieves Town or any Dark World dungeons pretty early, it's really nice being able to stun enemies and not have to worry too much about avoiding stuff.
And
Really
triple
similar
boom
routing.
Triple boom from that chest and 300 from the Sank chest. So no problem with Bottle Vendor, no problem with running out of bombs early.
It looks like, yeah, they are sticking to the standard Uncle to Kakariko route. Cobb and Kycats both going up to Lumberjack as well, just to see if that Agnum is going to be required. Hopefully not, but you never know in Randomizer.
And there's a reason that it's a standard routing.
Why is that?
Because it's very effective and it works.
Yeah, it's actually the routing I see myself take a lot, especially if you don't have bombs. Or no, if you do grab bombs because you allow yourself to have them for well and blindside.
That was a big 20 there.
So no Agnum currently appears to be required, so that's probably a little bit of a relief for them.
I've always liked seeing something like the mushroom. Oh, we've got a fire rod.
Interesting.
Map check already. 2 in desert, 6 in eastern, and green pendant at Tower of Hera.
Ooh. Pendant Hera is always a tricky call if you want to go all the way up there. I'm liking this early fire rod though, because I really want to see if when we get that Dark World access, if we're going to see that early Skullwoods play.
Well, it's version 26, do Skullwoods.
Yes. There's one thing about version 26 is you always do Skullwoods no matter what.
It seems like the Skullwoods has progression items disproportionate to the number of items that it has.
Right? It's only 2 items in there, but you'll find something almost every time you go in.
I think the last statistics I saw was something like 30 to 35%. Okay, we've got Big Love, Little Love, Big 20, and another Little Love in Blind's basement.
Lots of farts coming out, which is good. It's really nice to build up your HP early on.
And this is definitely not a poverty seed.
Right. I wonder if we'll see early Zora check as well.
I wonder if we'll see fake flippers over to Hobo and reverse fake flippers up to Zora.
Oh, that's always one of my favorite things to see.
What I think will happen is we'll see that if we have an early Moon Pearl.
Yeah, that way you can grab the Waterfall Fairy items at the same time.
What's that? Coblalala's fallen down the well? And getting a sword.
So far, not terribly exciting for Kakariko. Yeah, oh, and a shovel too.
Do you
Sword,
want to have a
shovel,
fetch quest?
It's actually perfect to get the shovel right now because you can just go right over to the grove after checking the race item.
Yeah,
Just knock it out this early.
that is very true. And no chicken clip on Cobb's side. But right when he runs out of bombs, he gets another 3 bombs. I will agree with the comment in chat, this seed is being pretty nice so far.
Cobb going ahead, picking up those extra bombs makes, I mean, probably the best thing you do right there, just because you have so much money and you still have plenty of other locations to check with that are bombs needed. See if Kycats does the same thing as well.
Mini Moldorm Cave. There's the Mini Moldorm Cave, there's Ice Rod Cave.
I expect them both to check Ice Rod Cave, just because we don't really have a lot of progression items right now. Usually if you found like a lot of progression stuff early on, I find it's good to skip Ice Rod Cave, just take that gamble. But at this point, it's not a risk that I would want any of them to see them take.
Big love on the library shelf, and 10 arrows in race game. Now, one thing I've seen some runners do is to just go ahead and run the race game, and if they don't like the item, just save and quit out. Not something I expect to see. Not something I expect to see here, since they've got the flute or the shovel.
Yeah, I do that myself just because I feel like it's a pretty nice gamble to take, and that time that you do find an item there, then it definitely pays off. But yeah, in this kind of case where you have the shovel and you need to go over to the grove, I probably wouldn't have gone into the maze. So definitely both of them making the right plays here, in my opinion.
The only problem I see with that particular go into the maze and save and quit if you don't like what you see is if you do like what you see and it's just been automatic to save and quit out.
Oh yeah, just by force of habit.
Okay, Cobb heading in to check the sluice gate and underwater items.
Cobb having a slight lead over Kycats as well, just primarily due to execution. Obviously, that's elite. We'll see that change very soon once these paths begin to diverge, but Cobb definitely showing he's a little bit better at execution at this point.
And just 3 bombs under the lake. I don't know how well those bombs will work, since they've been waterlogged.
Yeah, I don't think those are the water bombs either from Twilight Princess, so probably not very efficient.
As our tracker Flaffykins points out in chat, movement matters.
Cobb doing a very good job with those Moldorm kills. Fortunately missed one of them with the bomb, but still pretty well executed nonetheless. And more what is this seed with all these rupees?
And a master sword and a flute.
Oh, I like
so
this
he's
one,
going to go straight over to activate that flute. So if you like what you're seeing so far, why don't you give these runners a follow? They're certainly worth it.
Right.
We're not seeing an ice rod cave check, but getting flute out of Mini Moldorm, it would not surprise me to see them flute over and do ice rod from there.
Right, it would be faster to definitely just save and quit, grab the duck, and then just go back and check Ice Rod afterwards. So I really do like that play from Cobb.
And
Well, the
Cobb
Kycats
stands,
is the
sits,
same
or
thing.
takes a knee. And then Cobb stands, sits, or takes a knee for the Swag Duck Hyrulean National Anthem. Cats is going over to check the Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, and there it is right there. You can see, even though they're both like kind of synced up right now, Cobb had a slight lead due to his movement over Kycats. So now he has the flute, and he's exactly where Kycats is at.
Kycats having to be real careful because those crabs do 2 hearts of damage with green mail. And the banana hat in Ice Rod Cave.
Pretty nice finding that blue mail early. I know I definitely like that for if I have to run into like a dark world pretty early. So kind of a defensive and money heavy seed at this point. Looks like we are going to be seeing the escape being done by Cobb. He's probably thinking, you know, I don't have any of these items needed for, you know, Eastern or Desert Palace or even Hera. So I think there's a pretty good chance that we're going to find something in here, whether it's a... Oh, and we got the fake flippers.
We get a fake flippers from KY Cats.
So a little bit of sequence breaking right now if he does go up to Zora, since we do not have limits yet.
Just a piece of fart on the island. Hello, Hammer.
Ooh,
Halt!
It's hammer time.
Halt, for the hour of the hammer is upon us.
So at this point, he's just 2 items away from that Dark World access. I'm not thinking that Agnum is going to be required. Even Hobo just giving us that piece of love, it looks like. Oh, are we going to see these fake flippers again?
We might see the reverse fake flippers. No, he gives it a couple tries and decides discretion is the better part of valor and heads out. And just does a save and quit.
Right. I think that's the better play too. He has not gone back to activate his flute though, and that's a little bit... I don't know if maybe he just forgot that he picked up the flute with all those other items, because he could be cutting down on a lot of this of overworld travel just by going to Kakariko real fast.
And Cobb picks up a burrito. Yeah,
so Escape not having the items that we're looking for, with the exception of that hammer. So maybe you'll see something in hut to see if get like some gloves or just something to maybe clear Eastern.
We've got a bottle, all hail Vitor. Hook shot, hello!
Hook shot, definitely a very big pickup. So I'm assuming when Cobb picks up his, he's probably going to head right over to Death Mountain. Just clear everything out on the eastern side, because there's not really anywhere else to go at this point.
Right. Actually, Cobb, unless basement is required, Cobb can clear Tower of Hera. Because unless, well, actually, no, even if basement is required, because Fire Rod. Cobb
Right, so he has everything
completely
he
clear
needs.
Tower of Hera.
Looks like he'll be dipping into Eastern real quick, which I like that. I mean, clear out just everything before the rooms leading up to Armos Nights, especially if you know how to do those first 2 dark rooms. Just get it out of the way and see if you pick up anything in there.
Cat's activating his swag duck, taking a knee for the Hyrulean National Anthem. or standing, or sitting, or whatever his particular preference is.
Oh,
And
we
he
get a
is
bottle
checking
check
Sick
here.
Kid. We've got a Moon Pearl.
Yeah, definitely Eastern is the play at this point. So like I said, I don't expect that we'll see an Agnum. All we need is one more item for that Dark World access.
Of course, we both say that. We both say and think that, and then the first glove upgrade will be on the pyramid.
Oh, that would be disappointing. So it's a little bit different paths being taken right now by both runners. Cobb going with the early Eastern Palace dip, even though he can't complete it unless Bo happens to show up. And then Kycats kind of following just the breadcrumbs he's been getting. Ooh, red tunic.
We've got
that is very nice early on.
early eggplant hat.
So we shouldn't be seeing too many deaths coming up.
Yeah, it's a little out of the way, but for red mail at yes, all three. Our tracker points out all 3 Eastern Palace items have been found.
So it's important to note that Kycats has not got the hammer yet and can't do Hera. So we could see him having to go all the way back around once he finds the hammer, just to see if there is that required item in Hera, despite it being a pendant dungeon. Because, like you know, V26.
Yeah, V26 pendant dungeons. Uh-oh. We could see some problems here from cats. Those cabbages, man. Those cabbages.
Oh, that's a scary situation to be in. I probably would have just taken the save and quit, just going right back to the old man, just to be a little bit more
have
safe.
the old man.
Oh, you're right.
If he had the old man, he probably would. At least I would.
Well, he is a smarter man than I am.
Now he's heading over to the 7 items over here.
Cobb definitely showing off his prowess of knowing these dark world or these dark rooms.
50 rupees and 20 rupees. Yes, Cobb picking up Dennis. Dennis gives him a big heart.
Oh, that's sweet of him.
We've got a cape. Well,
Ooh, and silver.
Chat asks why Dennis? Well, everyone always calls him the old man. Well, he's not very old, now is he?
I mean, he does have that bald spot on his head.
No one knew he was called Dennis. Well, no one bothered to find out. Cobb looks like Cobb's gonna go through and pick up his red mail.
Yeah, I mean, if it's in a very easy to access location like that, definitely I would be going for it as well.
Piece of heart on the floating island.
Oh, save and quit. Oh, okay, no, he's just going back to the old man.
Because he's got the old man.
No, I'm not really sure if it's... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that actually is faster to just go ahead and do that instead of running back through the cave. Cobb's routing is actually really good right now. I mean, he has everything to clear Hera. So, and then he's plus he has all the items in Eastern Death Mountain. So he's making the right plays right now. I did not see what came out of Spike Cave, but it doesn't look like it was anything too important.
Spiral Cave was just 3
Spiral.
bombs.
3 bombs, okay. Getting controlled by the Dead Rock.
Yeah. Light World Death Mountain is just not fun.
It's frustrating.
Cat's heading up to take care of Escape.
Good. He'll find his hammer at that point. I wonder. Yeah, I know. I really think like Hera is gonna have one item to let them progress more. Either just well, it has to probably be a glove, to be honest. And as soon as kycats finds that hammer here, he's gonna be thinking, "Oh no, I need to go back to Hera at some point, probably."
Oh, on this it almost has to be. Hera almost has to have something.
Kycats has not checked Eastern yet, so we may see him go over there first. I would think after spending so much time in Death Mountain, he's probably thinking that the next best play is to go to Eastern Palace when we know it's not at this point.
Well, Hera and Eastern are both very reasonable plays.
All right, let's see what we find. Like I said, I'm expecting it to be gloves somewhere, because opening up Dark World at this point with Moon Pearl and Hammer seems exactly what Randomizer would do to a runner.
I'm expecting a lamp.
And force them into escape again. That would be dirty. Oh, or another fetch quest item.
Mushroom?
We got the mushroom. That's an easy enough check though with the flute, so
Yeah, with the
definitely
flute.
probably a better item to get.
Although I found this out the hard way, the flute does not count as leaving the screen for the purposes of the mushroom fetch quest.
Yep, you gotta run all the way off like normal. Alright, so we still have one item left. I'm sure Cobb's thinking, hey, he really doesn't want to have to go down to the basement to find that last item, so hopefully we see something here, or for Moldorm.
I'm not sure why Cobb took the vanilla route over to the big chest. Why he didn't use the hook shot? Oh no, never mind.
He doesn't
I figured
have
it out. Menuing.
Yeah.
Menuing because he's going to use hammer strats on Trolldorm. I don't think of menu times. Maybe that's why I'm not anywhere close to good enough to be in this tournament.
Hammer Moldorm is pretty respectable though.
Troll number 1.
But yeah,
Cats.
Hammer Moldorm is pretty difficult in my opinion.
Really? I don't think Hammer Moldorm is that hard.
I think it's just not having that security of having your sword out and being able to avoid being pushed off. That kind of gets me. But I guess everyone's different.
Meanwhile, Cats jumps into Eastern, picks up his Moon Pearl.
So Cat's not too far behind Cobb. Obviously Cobb already being able to finish Hera right now. Cat's taking a little bit different routing and having to double dip into Death Mountains, but we can see him catch up relatively fast.
Now,
Easy. Cobb's tired of using hammer.
if you're on Cobb's side and you don't get the item from Trolldorm, do you go back in and do the basement, or do you take the gamble?
Oh, no, I would go back to basement, honestly. Because where else could he go at this point? Agana?
Again, Agana.
Yeah,
I missed.
I think
What was it?
it was a piece of art. So he has his 2 items from Hera at this point. But if he had picked up just another dungeon item, I would definitely be going back in there just because of how long it takes to get to Agana.
Right, the only other things there are would be Agana, Mushroom, and Green Pendant.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming with just the breadcrumbs in this that we're going to see that flute over to the Witch's Hut to turn in that mushroom. So kycats actually taking a little bit of a different route. He's going going up to Zora right now. Now that he has that moon pearl, so he can grab the waterfall items. I like that a lot, to be honest. However, we know that unless what's it called? Unless Cobb gets the flippers right now and is able to go up to Zora, then I don't think there'll be anything up there for him to progress off of. So this is a potentially big gamble if it works out for him. Who either?
It's also a sequence break.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking there's probably not something up here for him because he shouldn't be here at this point. The game is definitely kind of pointing him towards finding those power gloves, and you're not going to see them up here, so he's breaking all the way up to Zora. Yep, and there he is. So not the up here value.
And a big heart on Desert Ledge.
So it's Agana. Agana is going to have our item.
Or it's going to be Aghanim required.
Oh, no, because we don't have a lamp yet. Unless we get a lamp right here.
That's valid.
Can you imagine getting, like, just being one item shy of Dark World access and then being forced to do Aghanim? What?
I can imagine. There's still Green Pendant and Mushroom.
Oh, yeah, there's Green Pendant. Oh, Mushroom was Ether.
Oh, I completely didn't see that.
So, I mean, we'll probably see Ether being used for one of the required dungeons in Dark World. But Cobb's probably thinking right now, too, okay, we need to go up to Zora.
Yes. Cobb also potentially checking Ice Rod Cave.
He did grab that already, right? It should have been Blue Tunic.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
He did pick that up earlier. He fluted over.
That's right, he fluted over the same time that Cats went over.
But yeah, I mean, kind of one big thing about logic with Randomizer is that I think at this point you you wouldn't want to be going up to Zora because it's a sequence break and you're not looking for those kind of items right now. You're looking for something to get you in the Dark World. And the only possible way you'd be forced up here is if one of these last few overworld checks had flippers or something to get you up there.
Right.
Personally, I would be going to Green Pendant immediately, grabbing what is probably going to be the gloves, and then worrying about Zora at a later point.
I still say that's going to be Lamp. Green Pendant's going to be Lamp.
And then we're going to see that Agnum.
And it was 50 rupees on the Zora ledge.
Oh, was it? Okay. It looked like just a normal green rupee to me, but it's usually, people don't usually go that far to see exactly what's next to it. So we're going to see 100% seed. So it's feeling
100.
like it at this point.
Well, I will wait for a Dark World map check before I figure out what I'm going to say for my Super Troll Commentator's Curse attempt.
Okay, so Cobb's kind of thinking like, okay, what do I do now? I don't think he remembers that he had his green pen. If he does, and he's running over there right now, but kind of hesitated there for a second, trying to think, what else do I have left to check? So I'm glad he didn't spend too much time having to wait on that. And we're finally going to see what this item's going to be.
It has to be either gloves or lamp.
Yeah, it can't be anything else unless they give you a book and you'd have to dip into. Oh, and there it is. There's your gloves.
I love the power glove. It's so bad.
It would have been pretty trolly to throw a book at them and force them to go to Desert Palace too.
That would have been fun, though. That would have been fun from a commentator's standpoint.
Alright, so now we get our first look at Dark World, as well as what I'm going to assume is a Hype Cave.
The Cave of Inevitable Disappointment incoming.
Schrodinger's Cave of Hype. Until you actually go in, it's both hype and unhype.
Okay, we've got blue. Blue pendant in pod, red pendant in swamp.
So we may not even see mirror at any point until. Oh, then we got Ice Rod. That's actually got to be pretty nice finding the Ice Rod this early for Turtle Rock.
And otherwise, it's a Led Zeppelin cave.
It's
got a whole lot of love.
I kind of like seeing that play. Just checking Hype Cave real quick before going into a Village of Outcasts.
Even though it's been remarkably disappointing in the V26 logic, still, whenever I get the opportunity to get into Dark World and check it, I always check it. Cobb doing the back 3 chests of escape first.
It's a good idea. I mean, you have to do it at some point, and it's going to take the same amount of time no matter when you do it. You might as well just do it early to ensure that there isn't going to be any random items in there. And there isn't. Look like there is. I don't know if they picked up the map yet, so I don't know if we can have that item in the sewer. But still, that won't be required until we get to that lamp. Kycat's picking up his gloves as well, so we'll see what he does with this new Dark World access as well.
Yeah, the map was in the burrito was in Zelda's cell.
Okay, so we might see dip back into there once they do find that lamp.
Unless they're confident with the dark rooms. And Cats is heading over to do Led Zeppelin Cave himself.
So like we said, Cats is not too far behind from Cobb at this point.
Right.
Sure.
It's all execution.
Right.
And Crystal 5 is Skull Woods.
So here's what I said. Actually, no, they're definitely finished Skull Woods at this point. I mean, you have Red Tunic, you have 11 hearts. You just go ahead and clear it now.
You have Fire Rod, you can full clear it. If you can full clear a Crystal Dungeon, you do it.
So pretty
nice setup there from Cobb to get both beetle things to drop down the hole.
Yeah, it's so nice doing that because it's frustrating just having to try to get around them. So I think we're going to see some pretty standard Dark World routing. Kycat's actually going to the Pyramid right now, just knocking that out. But as far as from Kakariko, you just go straight from Skull Woods to Thieves Town because both of them are required. And there you go, you got 2 free crystals without having to really worry about like where do I need to go next to be most efficient.
Right. Pyramid, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cats go up and check Catfish.
It's a little bit of questionable play, I think, this early on. I usually don't see Catfish get checked to a little bit later when you're kind of running out of areas to check. But hey, maybe that's just a gamble that he wants to take.
Well, the reason that I say it is that there's not really a convenient place to put Catfish into your routing, especially with Pod being a pendant and possibly not even required. Right. So it's not necessarily a bad play to get Catfish here and then go around the North Way to get to Village of Outcasts. Go around past Graveyard to get to Village of Outcasts and Skullwoods.
There's always just that fear that you don't get anything for Catfish, and this very long detour was all for nothing. It's kind of like, deciding whether or not to make the Aghanim play when you're sure for not that it is required. You see a lot of runners usually try to putt it off as long as possible just because it is so inconvenient. But let's go ahead and see right now.
Actually, my usual preference when I'm running, we've got a book.
Oh, we got a Quake. That could be required
Vanilla.
if we that needed for Meyer or Turok.
Vanilla Catfish? Who randomized this seed?
Pretty sure this isn't just a normal ROM. So that could potentially pay off for him. But Cobb has to be feeling pretty good right now. He has a very clear idea of how he needs to route coming up. So he's already got this crystal coming up soon. He's going to have Thieves Town Crystal. He has the book to get into Desert Palace. We don't know if it's boots locked just yet, but there's 3 dungeons already that he's thinking about completing, not having to really go out of the way to look for these obscure overworld locations.
Like Catfish.
Like Catfish.
I wonder if that could come back to haunt him, though, not doing Catfish.
Right. I know it definitely would be haunting me a bit. So that could definitely have been the play that puts Kycats in a significant lead, depending on what is required to enter Meyer Turtle Lock.
Yeah, depending entirely on what's required from Mire and Turtle Rock, which we won't know until we get the Titan's Mitts. Now, for those of you who are new to Randomizer, have not seen this before, this is Link to the Past Randomizer. They have randomized all of the item locations. They've not randomized where the dungeons are. They've not randomized what doors go into anywhere. That's called Entrance Randomizer, and it's a whole lot more nasty. They've randomized what crystals and pendants are in what dungeons. They've randomized what items can be found where. But the items that are multiple levels are all progressive. So you won't get Titan's Mitts before you get the Power Glove. You won't get the Tempered Sword before you get the Fighter Sword.
A big part of just learning to be good at Randomizer, obviously knowing, what is needed for each dungeon, having like unorthodox boss kill strategies, learning to like follow the breadcrumbs that the game gives you. So that's like if you hear us say like, oh, like the book was found for Cobb, we're thinking, okay, then Desert Palace potentially has something for him to get further into the game.
Eventually, you'll hear us use a term called Go Mode. Go Mode is when a runner has everything needed to complete the game.
Kycat's just behind Cobb, and like I said, this is definitely still a very close race. Cobb is making a lot of really good plays right now, but as we said, if that Quake has to come into play later and he doesn't go to check Catfish, then we could see Kycats take a significant lead.
Yes. And that's why we refer to it as a gamble.
Oh,
we've got Titan's
Mitts. Wow. So early, too. So Titan's Mitts are one of like those items you want to find in this because it just opens up so many locations for you to look for more stuff.
Yeah, it's almost a vanilla Titan's Mitts.
just a few tiles over to the left.
Titan's Mitts in the vanilla ROM are found in Thieves Town, which is the dungeon right next to the chest game where we found them here.
And that's a dungeon we'll see Cobb be entering next for sure. There's no reason not to enter Thieves Town and just complete it at this point.
Now, we'll also talk about number of items in each dungeon. Each dungeon has a particular number of... There's the usual dungeon items like keys, big key, map, compass. And there's also what we call unique items. Each dungeon has a particular number of them. There's the first one for Cobb in Thieves Town. Thieves Town has 4. And the reason I was so disappointed when I saw Palace of Darkness and Swamp Palace as pendants is that those are two of them. Those are two that have the most. Swamp Palace with 6, Palace of Darkness with 5.
It'll be pretty interesting if we don't see any like more unique items come into play until after Desert Palace and Thieves Town, because be seeing if these runners want to dip into those pendant dungeons just to see if there is those required items. Obviously, we still need Mirror for Swamp Palace, but Pod is definitely a play that we could see at some point.
Cat's having some difficulty in... I would not be surprised if that were an intentional death. Because he's out of magic.
Yeah. It's awful losing your magic at this part of Skullwoods. You can pick up these small skulls to get a few things of small magic, and there is a big thing of magic in the second part of the dungeon, but it's so far to go back.
And 3 of the 4 items in Thieves' Town have been picked up. But nothing really of note.
So Kycats, yeah, kind of recognizes that he needs that extra magic. Probably gonna go back to the second part of Skullwoods and pick up that full magic container.
Well, there's a fairy in a bottle, but nothing else really of terrible note. Cats has
Hey.
picked up 2 bottles, both of which are bees.
Oh,
We
yeah,
have a half magic.
So if Thieves' Town was a pendant dungeon, you would see that person just leave immediately because there's no reason to complete it.
There would be no reason to complete it unless you think that, unless you happen to think that you need to do the pedestal, which we could still need to do the pedestal.
Yeah, for now it's definitely up in the air until we see a little bit more of where items can be at. But we'll see how it happens later on.
Well, we know that the bow can't be on the pedestal.
Right. We could see like
We could see Cain of Samaria on pedestal.
right. Yeah, I'm just kind of trying to run it through my head. Cat's dipping out of Skullwoods. I think he's probably going to head over to the witch's hut and pick up those let's just pick up some extra potions just to avoid that situation happening again. Cobb entering his blind fight. So looks like Cobb's doing a really good job so far.
Yeah.
We'll see the rest of Lower Dark World get checked real fast, and then most likely he'll head over to Desert Palace, and we get to see whether or not it's going to be boots locked.
Cats picks up his ether as well.
Nice blind fight. Had that magic cape out too, just in case things went a little bit wrong, but still able to clear it without it.
You know, I will traditionally do Thieves' Town first and then go up to Skull Woods, so I can save and quit after Skull Woods and not have to run back through it.
Right.
I was about to say I was about to wonder why Cobb didn't do lumberjack, but then I realized he doesn't have mirror.
Right.
Now you can do it without the mirror.
Okay, good. I was a little bit worried there. He was going to saving. Still have Haunted Grove to check. Oh, he might actually go and start doing... Yep, he's going to do that and then probably save and quit and head back over there and start off that series quest.
Yes. That and so he'll get lumberjack and then he'll get Gary's lunchbox. Okay, so Cats is going to head back into Dark World, do you think he's going to go and complete Skull Woods, or do you think he's going to do Village of Outcasts first?
I think he's going to go ahead and just finish Skull Woods. I mean, he's picked up the potions. He's kind of prepared himself for it. I would just be thinking he wants to get it out of the way right now. Cobb taking the Hammersmith's money. Or not. Looks like he's actually, yeah, he is going into a Village of Outcasts instead. Kind of interesting play. And then Cobb's opting to check these overworld locations instead of going into dungeons. He's probably thinking that he wants to find the boots just to ensure that Desert Palace isn't gonna prevent him from clearing it if the big key is on the torch there.
Now, as we know, doing Thieves Town is a good play for cats here.
Yeah, getting the Wait, there was the book in there, right? I don't remember exactly where the book was, but I mean, it's a required dungeon.
Book was in Skull Woods, but half magic was in Thieves Town.
Oh yeah, that will definitely help out with completing Skull Woods. So I wonder if once he picks that up, he'll be thinking, okay, let's just go do Skull Woods.
Meanwhile, Cobb is going to take Gary's lunchbox back to him.
Where's he going, though?
Well, he didn't check Stumpy, so he's going to check Stumpy.
Oh, okay. That's something I always forget about, because usually my routing is go straight from Dig Game to Stumpy itself. But that makes sense. So he'll check Stumpy. Oh, we got boots! We got the boots!
He got his Go Fast shoes.
So we should definitely be seeing a Desert Palace play after this.
Well, he can full clear Desert.
Yeah, there's no reason not to go. Like I said, he could have been thinking before, like, okay, I want to find the boots to ensure that I can do Desert Palace. Now there's just absolutely no reason not to, since it is a required dungeon. So just some few rupees from Gary.
Yeah, Cobb is definitely heading for Desert. Thought about doing the Meyer shed check.
Would have made sense, but he doesn't have mirror, so it would be kind of inefficient to save and quit and then have to go all the way back. I don't think we've got the validation arrow yet.
Desert Palace has 2 unique items in it.
Yeah, a lot of the Light World dungeons don't have a lot of items. We have a 3 in Eastern and then 2 in both Desert Palace and Hera. And then you get a dungeon like Swamp Palace in Dark World that has 6 unique items.
Swamp Palace and Turtle Rock is considered to have 6, even though one is technically not in Turtle Rock itself, because Mimic Cave. Cat's checking out King's Tomb, and just finds 3 bombs.
So it's interesting what they're gonna do after this. I'm really curious what the Meyer check is gonna be, and even if they want to go to Meyer when they don't have We could actually see. Okay, so there we go. It's boots locked. So it's a very good thing that Cobb did find those boots first, because he would have been forced to come back here.
Now, when we describe a dungeon or an item as being something locked, that means to get that item, you would have had to have gotten the item that we're saying is locked. So to get the big key there, you would have to have the boots to bonk it off the bonk lamp.
And you need the big key to get to the boss, so it'd be inefficient to have to come back here twice after finding the boots.
Exactly.
So coming up, I'm expecting Cobb to probably dip into Ice Palace.
And that's Sanctuary Heart on Desert Ledge.
I think it's a good call. Go out your way and grab it. Even though you have a lot of hearts, I mean, can't hurt just grabbing one extra one.
It's sitting right there to get in somewhere that it's not really out of the way to get. You get it.
So we're gonna see what llamas have, since we've only found one item so far. Kycats going into Thief Sound now. I think this is his first trek into it, so now we get to see him full clear.
Okay. There was a question in chat. How do we know it's Sanctuary Heart? Sanctuary Heart is the only full heart container in the game that fully refills your life when you get it.
I actually did not know that. That's kind of cool.
Well, all the rest of them you get. All the rest of the heart containers are from bosses. See, all the rest of the heart containers you get from bosses, where the boss animation will fully heal you. In Sanctuary, you don't. So the heart container itself fully heals you.
Really clean Lemmel's fight. Taking advantage of that half magic and the fire rod. If you didn't know, each one dies 2 hits with the fire rod, making it a very quick fight if you're able to land those hits on him. So definitely Cobb using his game knowledge to quickly clear that fight out.
Yes, fire rod does golden sword damage, and he's going to do a mire check. He's going to check the shed. He's going to check what medallion is needed to get into mire.
Yeah, and this is when we're really going to tell if that quake is going to be needed. I can't see. Oh, it's Bombos.
Swirly coin to get into mire.
That's going to be interesting.
We could see Bombos on pedestal. We get a powder.
For that pedestal.
I haven't gotten to commentate a pedestal seed yet.
And every single runner is like just hoping that they don't have to see that pedestal seed.
And just about every single commentator is hoping for the pedestal seed. Okay, Cobb using a glitch called hookshot speed.
Yeah, it's a relatively easy glitch. There's a couple ways to prepare it, but using the hookshot is the best. It's probably the most efficient way. Essentially, what you're doing is you're using the hookshot and the Pegasus boots like 1 frame afterwards, causing you to move at that super fast speed. Most people also have a way to do it with the sword spin slash. It's a little bit more difficult to do just because it takes time to spin up to charge up that spin slash. The hookshot makes it very simple to just do it repeatedly until you get it.
Oh, that's what Cobb is doing. Cobb's going to check Ether Tablet. I thought he was going into Dark Death Mountain, but he's going to check Ether Tablet first.
I thought he was going up there too, yeah. Just getting your 1 rupee.
getting a green rupee. Spike Cave. Our tracker Flaffy in the chat asks about Spike Cave. Spike Cave would be a sequence. No, it wouldn't be a sequence break. I forgot he has a cape.
Yeah, and he has half magic too, so he can get through it with relative ease. But we are going to see Turok, what's required here. So if it's Quake, like I said, and then could see Kycats catching up a bit. Meanwhile, Kycats
the order of pegs is not randomized. The order of pegs for that is not randomized. And unfortunately, Kycats was not counting his items.
Oh, did he check the big chest?
He checked the big chest.
So, Quake not being required whatsoever. Kind of gonna put Kycats in a bind. He's 3 dungeons behind, and the trek over to Catfish was not worth it at this point. He doesn't know it yet, but he's gonna have to do a lot of work to catch up to Cobb now.
Cat's having a little bit of difficulties with the blind fight.
I wonder if he remembers he has the magic cape.
He's just getting a little bit off. I wonder if he remembers he's got a blue goo. He does have a fairy.
So maybe he was planning for that to happen.
And Hookshot Cave had nothing! Absolutely nothing!
You get nothing. Good day, sir.
Blind.
There you go. Come on. Pull out the magic cape. There you go. Good job.
Okay, blind takes 9 hits from any sword.
Yeah, and he's one of those unique bosses that doesn't, like most bosses, you can't do anything with the fighter sword, but blind will still fall with 9 hits no matter what.
I think we're going to see Cats go up and finish off Skullwoods now. Dark Death Mountain, a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, Club's just trying to knock out all these quick, overworld locations, just to see if there is going to be any progression items in there. They grabbed the powder earlier, of course, so.
And for Cobb, Bat Cave.
Oh, lands up almost.
Bat Cave has bombos. Big bada boom.
To be honest, I think we're actually really close to go mode for Cobb.
Yeah. Cobb is really close to go mode. By the logic, Cobb needs the flippers and Cane of Samaria, and that's it.
Oh, wait, he needs bow too.
Oh yeah, bow.
Okay, so
Sorry,
3 items,
forgetting
but
about
still,
bow.
he has a lot of places to check. Like, I'm actually surprised he's not going to. Oh wait, Oh, I forgot. So flippers would be technically needed for Ice Palace, even though you can fake
flipper your way there.
But he's probably thinking that, okay, flippers are probably in Misery Mire.
I'm guessing he's thinking that something he needs is in Mire, and you can get everything except for Vitreous without the Cane. And not having Cane means you can't even get into Turtle Rock.
Plus, he doesn't have Lantern yet either, so he shouldn't be going to Vitreous.
Right.
So there's like too many items here that could be showing up. So we could see. I mean, he hasn't checked Pod yet. I'm thinking that Pod will be visited at some point.
Pendant Pod is usually a good play because there's no bow.
Right, but there's still plenty of items you can check without the bow too.
Only if the first chest on the left side is a key.
Right.
If
I
the
would
first
think
chest
in
on
this
the left side is not a key. If the first chest on the left side is not a key, everything else is bow locked.
Right. I think for this seed where you're kind of getting the hint that you have to go into Pod, you would probably see that small key on the left side to allow you progression into it. Like cats. I don't know if he miscounted his items as well because he went all the way around.
He didn't get the book yet.
He didn't get the. Oh, he didn't. Was that the one after the statue switch
That
room?
was yes. That was in the vanilla big key location. I see a lot of runners skip that chest.
Oh, never skip that chest.
Well, no, I see a lot of runners skip that chest because it is kind of out of the way, and if you get and save it for last, save that to be the last chest.
Oh, okay, that actually makes sense, especially because you have to do Mothula.
Yeah, it's certainly not an unreasonable play in Crystal Swamp or Skullwoods. It's not unreasonable for Crystal Skullwoods. For Pendant Skullwoods, I would never do that.
Alright, so I think that's one item in Meyer. I don't know if he found another unique another unique item yet.
I don't believe he has.
Kind of looking like Meyer's a bust for this point.
No, that was the first one. That was the first one because he's not just exiting Meyer.
Mm-hmm. I'm really curious what he does decide to do after this. I mean, you can clear Ice Palace, and we know he knows how to fight Clippers. I would think the smart play would just to be go into Ice Palace and clear it, even if you don't get any progression items, just because you can get out of the way. But then again, going into Pod would be another good play too, and seeing if it has those required items.
Yeah, Pod key leaves me wondering maybe. I don't think I would do Pod at this point without a bow, just in case I don't get a key in that first chest. Then I've wasted all that time.
There's your two items, Meyer. So
yep. So Meyer's a bust.
So we're left looking for that red cane.
Yeah, we're left looking for the cane and the bow. Potentially the mirror to get to Checkerboard Cave and Swamp. Cobb is taking the Pod gamble, though.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing you can do at this point. Or maybe, had a little bit of change of mind. Cats looks like he's
Ice Palace could be the play. Yes, there is Bonk. There's Bonk. There is the Bonk Bonk Rocks. Sanctuary Bonk Rocks. Which is just a 5-arrow upgrade.
And he hasn't checked Keen's Tomb yet either, so he doesn't go in there, not find anything. So Cat's with his 3 medallions at this point. I'm assuming he'll probably head over to Desert Palace too, having the boots and everything required. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, desert is the desert's clearly the play.
You know, where is Cobb checking at this point?
Spike Cave.
Oh man, that's such a out of the way location to check that I forget about it. That's kind of like where the routing comes into play. It's like, do you go all the way out of your way, go to this one cave that has one item, or do you go into a non-required dungeon to see if there is an item there? I know personally I make the play to go into dungeons just because of how V26 is, but it is randomizer, and items are still randomized everywhere. And there we go. Just 10 arrows.
These guys are locked pretty good now.
Yeah, he hasn't gone to Catfish yet, too, so maybe he'll head up there. I don't know if he checked Pyramid either.
I don't believe he checked Pyramid or Catfish.
I wonder if we'll see that at this point, because this is the... Actually, I think it would have been a little bit faster to do the Dark World portal and Swamp, but we'll see what happens.
He might be going in. Might be going into Pod. Yeah, he's making the play on Pod.
And you know what? He may not even need to fully clear it. He doesn't need the bow to show up in Pod. He just needs something to get him into Ice Palace, technically. And the bow could be there for Eastern.
That's true. As our chat points out, it's time for that part of the seed where all the remaining ideas are bad.
Like, do I go to Spike Cave or do I go to Catfish? That's when you know you've hit that point of the race that it's just nobody likes it.
And one of my favorite tricks, the item dashes. Okay, it's a key in the first chest, so we're not bow locked for the rest of the dungeon. But routing Pod without the mirror is very irritating.
Also important to note that he doesn't have the lamp, so technically, even if he knows how to do the dark rooms here, it's still a sequence break and there may not be items there that he's necessarily looking for.
Right.
So now he's kind of thinking, where do I go? And he is making the right call to hopefully jump down here. Yeah, there you go. So that key gives him access.
Key will open up. That key will give him access to the vanilla big key location.
This is a pretty interesting situation he's found himself in. He's kind of thinking right now, like, what do I do? Oh yeah, he can check that item up there. But more than likely that item has to be another key.
Yeah. This is...
I don't
This
even know
is-
how to route this. Yeah, it had to be a key there because he needs to be able to go further in.
No, it didn't have to be a key. It could have been the bow.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because that could have let him go through the right side.
Because that would let him do right side basement.
So we have really just one chest guaranteed, another chest if the next chest is also a key. And then after that, I mean, he can go into...
After that, it's sequence break to dark rooms.
Right. Man, what the heck is this?
What is this seed?
Yeah, there has to be something obviously that we're missing.
Yeah, we have to be missing something. Okay,
Alright, so
Cobb
we
is
can
going to take
dark rooms here.
the 2 dark room chests down here.
And these are really easy to do. There's no reason to skip them anyways. Can't see what it is.
Don't know what that was. Or that.
Those 2 unique items, so... Was it one of these?
Maybe.
Yeah, neither were keys.
Neither were keys. Oh wait, neither were keys, and he's got the big key. And I think
he's
map,
gonna go and do this.
and I'm pretty sure map and compass do show up in dark.
Yes.
Map, compass, and regular keys show up in dark. Big key, interestingly enough, does not. Oh man, I have enough trouble with this room in the light, with the lamp. Yes, but we know he already had the big key, but it's just pointing out the fact that big key does not show up in the dark.
Yeah, I'm wondering what we'll see for these 2 chests here. So Kycat's doing his track into Misery Mire. Kind of both runners are in at that same point where it's just like, where are these next items at? I think he got himself in a position. Okay, he's definitely right next to the second chest now.
Okay, and apparently rupees show up. Zora area had nothing. Or at least nothing of use.
So he didn't get any
He got
keys, so yeah.
He got a sword.
Oh, I didn't see
He did
that.
get tempered sword.
Where do you go next? What else is there? Well, okay, yeah, he still has Pyramid and Catfish, so I'm expecting him to do that next, but we already know there's something there.
We know that those aren't anything.
So what else is possibly left? We don't have the mirror, so that rules out a lot of options. Can't get into Swamp Palace just yet. We don't have a Big Fairy. Ooh, you're
Bumper
right.
Cave.
Nobody has checked the Bumper Cave. Oh, that is going to be very disappointing for our runners if they forgot about that, because it's very easy to forget to maybe just check real quick after Skullwoods.
Yes, it is really easy to forget to check it, and oh my.
Cape was in... I don't know. They've had it for quite a while.
They've had it for a while.
It
was in one of the early... I think it was in... yeah, I think it was. I think it was Mini Moldorm Cave. Okay, someone's asking where Bumper Cave is. Bumper Cave is the cave that's in the Dark World, that's the equivalent, that's in the same place as the cave that goes up to Death Mountain. in the light world.
And
Yeah,
plus,
without
with them
mirror,
early,
there's no reason to do North Dark World.
I think the smart thing to do, and it's still very easy to forget it, is just to, after you're done with Skullwoods, or even before you go into Skullwoods, you just run by there real fast. But just given that they got the magic keep so early, they probably, kind of forgot about, having it and having that option still available to them. All right, Cobb looks like he's making the play up to it.
Cobb is, yeah, I think Cobb's figured out what we've figured out, and that's the only remaining place.
Although he probably still has a map tracker as well, whereas I don't have one.
Yeah, I don't either. Well, technically I do because I use Cross Products Tracker, but
Same. I don't.
But
use
I
it
never
for
use the map.
commentating. All right, what do we got? What do we got? What is the magic item? Oh, the flippers. So
the
technically he
flippers, so it's
could've-
ice.
Okay, so he could have actually just fake flipper to Ice Palace and would have found whatever progression item's going to be in there instead. So I wonder if kycats will actually end up doing that, because technically you don't need flippers. It's very easy to sequence break without them.
So yes, as the chat is pointing out, fake flippers to ice could have short-circuited the logic to a win.
Yeah, just because the logic says you need this item to progress doesn't mean that if you have enough knowledge of some of the just fake flippers, then you can easily bypass that item and continue on. So if Cobb had decided, like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do Ice Palace, and fake flippers to it, then we could have seen him not even need to go up to Bumper Cave.
Yes, but he is going up to check Hobo, which he has not done. Cat's ducking out of his trip to Misery Mire.
Yeah, found his 2 items and pieced out. It's kind of interesting to see what he's gonna do next. Like, at this point, like I said, he can just go straight to Ice Palace. And given that there was nothing really in Pod that was found, that would be a really significant catch-up.
Looks like he might be going up to Bumper Cave.
So that's kind of where you see a lot of these races come down to, just picking the right places to look. So Cobb has spent a ton of time going to many other locations to find where these flippers are, but kycats is going to find it.
He's going to go straight there.
So he's only going to be like a few minutes behind them at this point, despite being a lot further behind during most of the race. So this could be when he catches up.
Although the difference is going to be that Cats is going to have to do Ice Palace with Master Sword, while Cobb is going to do Ice Palace with Tempered Sword.
Right.
We've got our shield. That's item number 1 of 3.
Honestly, if I saw I wouldn't even actually be going into Bumper Cave if I saw flippers there. I would just be thinking,
Well, I would still probably get the flippers just in
for
case a swamp.
Right. Oh, and we can still see a swamp, entry at some point if we find the mirror in Ice Palace.
Yeah, if we find the mirror in Ice Palace and no other progression, I think that means swamp has to be the next play.
Cobb kind of forgetting that can't use Ocarina in Dark World.
Taking an intentional death.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which is not a bad play.
Right.
Cobb doing the bomb jump. I finally learned how to do that Ice Palace bomb jump just in the last couple weeks.
He has to do it again. That looks like he got it twice in a row.
Yeah, he's set up right.
Definitely a very useful trick to learn. Be a little bit tricky to get down, so it's good to see him get it real fast.
I don't know where Cats is going.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if he wants to keep looking over old locations, see if he can find more progression items. Got a burrito. Oh, he hasn't checked Hammersmith yet.
Ah. So that's not an unreasonable thing to do.
So Cats had a pretty good chance to catch up to Cobb, but every minute that Cats doesn't go into Ice Palace now, it's just another minute wasted.
Yeah, every second that he's not in Ice Palace is waste.
Sorry, Cobb. I don't think he can destroy the skulls with just Fire Rod. I don't believe Cats has done Dark Death Mountain yet, and that could have been one of the ways he caught up by taking the gamble to not go up there. But he may opt to go ahead and check all those locations before he goes to Ice Palace.
I think at this point, this seed is telling me to do Ice Palace.
Yeah, I mean, despite it being a randomizer, obviously there's still kind of breadcrumbs to where you should be going. And if you ever have the means to clear dungeon,
if you have the means to
go do it.
If you have the means to clear a crystal dungeon, you just do it.
And we got a bow. We got the bow.
The D has been found.
So we could see another dip into pod then, if we don't find anything else here. Exactly, where is the lamp? For the first item you find in vanilla game, definitely hiding somewhere now.
Lamp, I'll make a guess. Lamp in Mimic Cave.
Yeah, as long as
it's before the
no, it can't be.
It's before the dark room.
Oh, it is it? Oh
yeah, Mimic Cave is before the dark room.
Yeah, I mean we could definitely see Total Rock before Mire. Actually, yeah, especially if it's just the lamp and you're not comfortable with that dark room in Mire, then yeah, definitely be entered more first.
Our chat says Lamp in Mimic Cave is Randomizer at the height of its powers.
That would be truly evil.
Oh, I've got worse. I've played worse.
Pretty solid cold stare clear. Good job, Cobb.
Yeah. It's a great cold stare fight.
But I'm assuming he picked up all the items because he did skip the big chest. There's only 3 items, I think, that are in Ice Palace, so I'm assuming
Yeah, there are 3 items in Ice Palace. Cat's doing a map check. See where he is.
He's in the swamp.
See where he is crystal-wise.
I'm assuming King of Samaria is going to show up before Lamp, just because that would open up to the rock. So
Yeah. Is there still an item? Is there still an item left in Eastern?
No, I think they picked up all the items. Yeah.
Okay, they got all the items in Eastern.
Yeah, clearing Eastern right now, it's not a bad idea. There's no guarantee that you'll find them here. And be in pod and be able to mirror from Eastern, so might as well just do what is necessary.
Cats makes the right play and heads to Ice Palace. Oh,
yeah, we could
Eastern opens up huge tracts of land.
So this is very randomizer.
Yes.
You get some seeds, they kind of just throw the items at you immediately and let you go through. And you get seeds like this, where it's just, you're still how many items? We're still 1 item away from go mode. And
yeah.
That, it's got no idea where it could be.
Yeah, Cobb is still 1 item from go mode. Cobb is still 1 item away from go mode, still needs the cane.
And kycats will be 1 item as well once he picks up his bow in here. I'm having trouble with the alphas.
Well, technically 2 items because the lamp.
Sure.
If you're not fully comfortable doing Dark Mire, which a lot of runners are not.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty hard with the room that you have to throw the block. You have all those fireballs being shot at you, and it's very hard to lose your positioning there.
Cat's setting up that bomb jump.
Alright, so we are seeing that pyramid fairy deck. So good play by Cobb.
If he's comfortable with the Mire Dark Rooms, and this is Kane,
I would go for it, to be honest. Because all you have to do is get through that room, and then Turtle Rock's dark room is very simple to do.
Oh no,
Well-
Cats falls. Got the bomb jump and he fell.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he knows exactly how to do it. You have to be standing on the edge and you just count like the number of pixels that show up under your feet.
Okay, the way I learned to set it up is using the top of you get all the way over. You get all the way over and drop the bomb down. And you use the top of Link's head on the
What
on
just
the
happened to Cats?
Oh no.
Cats has now entered the matrix.
So Cobb gets nothing out of Pyramid Fairy.
So it has to be Pod.
Yeah, it's got to be Pod.
It's gotta be Pod. Oh, he does have the Bombo tablet. No, but he can't check it yet. And now he's thinking,
No
like,
mirror.
"Wait, I don't have mirror." Hopefully he didn't lose too much off that, because I'm pretty sure he saved and quit right before he went into Ice Palace.
I think he did.
But still unfortunate that he lost all that time just because of a glitch. I wonder if he's playing on emulator because got the inputs being read in. How does something like that even happen? Huh?
I don't know, but this is he is back to before he went into Ice Palace.
He's opting to run all the way here. Instead of using his flute.
Cobb
That's gotta be
is
pretty discouraging.
Cobb is back into Pod. He's going to do left side.
All right, now we get to see what was missing. Oh, being controlled by the jellies. Alright, so right off the bat, you get these two chests to check. There has to be
one of them has to be
something.
Lamp.
Lamp or mirror?
Okay, Lamp or mirror.
Oh wait, he does. Okay, no, he does still have the one chest with 3 spikes to look at.
Okay, yes he does. Yes he does.
So if he had went that way initially instead of going into to the dark room, I wonder if he would have needed to double dip depending on what item it is. Good job, we're saying.
I think it has to be Lamp.
Lamp or mirror to force Swamp Palace.
Okay, Lamp or mirror to force Swamp.
I feel like it's gonna be mirror, or yeah, I feel like it's gonna be mirror, or I don't know. It's a hard call. Oh, there's the game. Okay, so we're looking at Turtle Rock.
I believe that. Well, no, technically Lamp is still required. But if he's comfortable with the dark, if he's comfortable with the dark room in, if he's comfortable with the Meyer dark room, then he's in go mode.
Right. So I think this is kind of something where a situation where your execution
in-
knowledge of dark rooms really,
Yeah.
if you know how to do the dark room in Mire and the lanterns in T-Rock, then you go to Mire first and then you T-Rock after, so that way
So that way you
right
can
over to
T-Rock
Game Sour.
straight to. So you can T-Rock straight into GT. And
Oh,
he
it looks
is
like
going
he
for
actually
Mire.
has I like it. It's such a scary dark room, but I'm really curious to see if he's gonna pull it off.
And Cats is foregoing the bomb jump.
Hop kind of forgetting where to go. It's not very often you have to double dip into Mire.
Yes,
But
but
it
he's
looks like
in
he's
Go
on
Mode
Mire.
Mire, which means he's got the key. All he's got to do is go to Vitreous.
Right. Kycats86. I didn't see if he did the ice bomb.
He did not get the bomb jump.
Okay, so he's just gonna go through it like normal. Alright, here we get to see if he actually can. He still has to pull up the skull. Oh, here we go. He almost had it. I'm just holding my breath, waiting for
Yeah.
him to get it. He does have a fairy and blue potion, so he has a little bit.
So he's got some safety.
Okay, so he knows where it is now. I think he's just a little bit to the left. Nope. He has it. He just has to push it down a little bit, and he's good to go.
He does take his. He does take a fairy.
Fortunately, the death there kind of makes the block disappear, so he has to reposition all over again. Oh, he got it. Nice. So even though it took him a long time to kind of get that, it still pays off in the long run.
Yes, especially if Lamp turns out to be deep into Turtle Rock or especially Swamp.
Yeah, I could see that a mirror pickup in Turtle Rock and Lantern being in Swamp. So definitely learning Dark Rooms is a huge thing for
Yes.
getting better at this game, and Cobb is showing that right. Cat's doing his ice palace clear still. Should be picking up the bow any second, actually.
Yes, should be getting the bow momentarily. Cobb setting up for Silver Arrow strats on Vitreous. just missed the 0 cycle.
It's so nice having silver arrows for Vitreous. It just makes the fight
Yes.
so trivial.
Cobb gonna head up to Turtle Rock now. I in his position probably would not immediately go to Turtle Rock. I would probably flute over to pick up a couple of blue potions and then go to Turtle Rock.
Exactly what I was
Because
thinking too.
Even with red mail, Turtle Rock is a grind.
And you also have to think that you're going straight from Turtle Rock to Ganon's Tower as well, so you're gonna have you're just gonna have the resources that are inside both those dungeons to keep you alive.
Now, if you have
Ganon
Bugnet,
as well.
if you have Bugnet, maybe be more confident with it, but
Well, Cobb has done a great job so far, so
Yeah, this is
maybe he
true.
feels confident clearing everything without having those safety items.
And Cat's miscounting his items again in Ice Palace.
So, I guess where are we going to see Lantern? Are we going to see a Lantern, or is there going to be a mirror pickup? It's really the question right now. I mean, he's still going to finish it otherwise. Oh, and there you go. Question answered right away.
I love Lamp.
So, at least doesn't have to worry about doing the dark in here, even though it is very simple. But yeah, that's an official go mode. Cobb
Yes, that's an official go mode for Cobb.
Right, for the easiest dark room too.
Wait a minute. Cats can't complete Ice Palace here.
Oh, he doesn't have red cane.
He doesn't have the red cane, and he doesn't have a key.
Oh no. So, the logic of this game, this is actually something I found when I was, is that the game will actually think, the logic will make you need the cane for that specific situation if the cane is available in a location that is accessible. So technically the logic is you pick up the bow, you go into pod, and then you come back to Ice Palace to finish it later.
Oh.
That is rough.
Still not the worst I've seen, but it's up there.
So another example of why it's good to learn some of the minor glitches, because that bomb jump makes you neglect that completely. But that's a rough situation to be in. The game will never force you to do any kind of minor glitches in your standard difficulty. But they definitely pay off when they are necessary, or when you run into a situation that you need them. No, that is possible that and I'm pretty sure this was the case on Cobb stream, that Cold Stare has the last key.
Cold Stare had the key. Cold Stare had this small key.
So it's a bit of advice for anyone who runs this game. I did not know that until I ran it myself, that if the red cane is available somewhere, then it can be required for Ice Palace.
And Cat's needing to head in and head into Pod to get his Cat's needing to head into Pod to pick up the Cane of Samaria.
Oh, and here's another thing too. So if you don't know how to do the dark rooms in here, then technically Turtle Rock is required first to get the lantern, and then to go all the way back to both Meyer and Eastern. Oh, Cats is just getting the short end of the stick on this match. This is Randomizer at its worst.
This reminds me of a seed that I played a few weeks ago in Standard, where the logic expected you to double dip in Ice Palace, double dip in Turtle Rock, double dip in Eastern, and triple dip in Swamp.
Wow, that is disgusting. This is the kind of seed that you need a lot of game knowledge, a lot of being able to do these minor glitches. Don't, and you do the required path that the logic expects you to take, then you're at a severe disadvantage. So I definitely can't blame Cats.
Cobb finishing off the Michael Bay boss.
Explosions. So
95%.
What'd you say?
95% explosions, 5% plot.
I'm about to say 95% of the budget for this game applied to doing the explosions on this boss. I mean, more explosions obviously mean better production value.
And the run is validated.
We have
the seed has been validated. We have the arrow.
Cat's definitely still he's making the right plays as far as the logic goes, but it's just those not knowing those minor glitches that are really costing him this
the
race.
Bomb jump, the Ice Palace bomb jump, and dark rooms. So Cobb is going into Ganon's Tower, which means there is a tradition in the community where we guess where the big key is going to be.
I'm going to say 5.
There are 22 possible locations. 5, that would be the second chest in the Skelebros room. I'm going to say that it's going to be in the right-hand chest after Ice Armos.
So Cobb actually going to the right side.
Not an uncommon strategy. Not an uncommon strategy at all when you get a key in that first room.
Right. It's a little bit of a gamble as well, just because there are chests on this side, but if you do find it, then definitely very good as far as saving time. Now keep in mind, he still needs another small key if you find it.
Yes, but there's one in the next room.
But doesn't look like we have any big key.
Wait a minute. He doesn't have the mirror.
Yeah, so he can either death
He
warp
just-
here.
And he just realized that he doesn't have the mirror.
So kind of looking like the play here not as good because he can't go back to the right side or the left side now.
Well, but this will get him right to Ice Armos.
Hmm. Having a little bit of trouble with what are those enemies called actually? I can never remember.
I don't know. I just call them horrifying.
But yeah, they're equally horrifying and frustrating to deal with, especially if you're trying to get over to a ledge that they're on, because they'll just track your position. All right, so we're gonna see that Armos tip. Beetles, yes, they are beetles. I knew it was something really simple, but I just couldn't remember exactly what it was.
Cat's heading into
Cat's-
pod.
Yeah, it's good. So he's gonna find his red key fast. I think this is actually the entrance into pod, so it'll be a little bit quicker than Cobb's, not having to like backtrack and stuff. But this is definitely already looking to be Cobb's game.
Which will send Cobb on to the next round.
Right. It would have been interesting to see a three-way race, but
I always like to see the three-way tiebreaker races.
yeah, my group actually, I have one where me and two other people are all tied for first place, so we have that coming up, and it's a pretty stressful.
Yes, but from the perspective of someone who's watching and commentating, we like those races because they're
Oh yeah,
always good races.
they're very exciting to watch. Just given how much is on the line. Oh, was that 5? I don't remember.
Well, that was 5 on this traditional routing.
On the traditional route,
But
which
6.
I thought it was.
Traditional routing 6.
But still, yeah, I know he's like, I don't have this mirror. He could. Actually, I don't know if he can go back this way. Never tried this.
Yes, he can. He can.
Okay, good.
He can bonk the way he did, or he can. There's a couple of potential hook shots that he can do.
So, I miss what Cats is doing, but he just went backwards.
Not comfortable with the bonk. Not comfortable with the bonk at the end, I guess.
Oh, to get the switch.
To get back up. To get back up to the
Interesting.
crystal switch.
Because you can actually use a bomb. Just throw it across the ledge to activate the switch at the wall. So Kai opting looks like to do a full clear. We'll see whether or not he decides to do. I actually no. I don't think he's gonna do the dark rooms, and he'll go straight to where the cane is at.
Yeah. Which could mean no Master Sword.
Right. He does have silver arrows at the very least. Cannon.
Or, I mean, no Tempered Sword.
Yeah. That won't be too bad at this point.
Meanwhile, Cobb making his way through the gauntlet. So I think the difference in this race has been the dark rooms and the bomb jump and ice palace, really.
Right. Cobb definitely kind of showed his prowess, knowing a lot more just about the dark rooms and just minor glitches. Let's see if he. Okay, good. He now he knows. So this is an alternative to doing that walk across the stairs. Just throw that bomb.
Cobb finishing off land mode 2.
So he should see the cane right here. And just peace out. And actually, it's kind of interesting to point out as well. Knowledge of dark rooms doesn't necessarily always mean it's going to be them. If Cobb had decided to go into where the logic would have forced him, meaning to the red cane instead of doing the dark room to the big chest, he would not have had to come back in here at all. So it's not always a positive thing for the runners.
Yes.
It gives you more options, but in this kind of case, we could have seen him done probably at this point.
Maybe because he would have passed by the tempered sword then as well, which would have made make the Ganon fight significantly more challenging. And Cobb just skipping all of the chests up here on the way up Ganon's tower.
So Cat's going where the logic is dictating him to go, is back to Ice Palace now that he has that. I'm sure he's kind of oh, never mind. He's going. Oh, he's just gonna pick up some. But I'm sure he's probably beating himself up a little bit. Oh, I should have checked for find that red king first before going to Ice Palace. That's a hard call to make, to be honest.
That's a very difficult call to make, and he wouldn't. No, he would have been able to. There were enough keys. There were enough keys he could have gotten to that room. Cobb heading up to Aghanim 2. Aghanim 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Nice double hit there to start off the fight. Fortunately, gets the blue balls, doesn't get the double hit again. Kind of weird positioning with these clones, unfortunately.
Not the best setup on these.
But he's able to roll through it, still get a pretty fast clear.
And that brings us to the big old pig. Cobb sitting in, getting into his Ganon fight. And
Yeah.
Ganon with a little bit of space balls. Okay, it's with the tempered sword, it's 12 swings for each phase.
Interesting that he's going with the magic tape. I'd be worried about running out of magic. Okay, good. I was really kind of go all the way because you still need the magic for the last part of the fight.
Yes. But he's into phase 3 now.
Cat's trying to get through Ice Palace at this point. All he has to do, I think, is just get straight to Cold Stare. Ooh, we could see possibly a death to Ganon.
We could.
Because he doesn't have any more items.
And Ganon hugs are best hugs.
Alright, we won't though, but we do see Cobb finishing his race. Looks like we have an official SRL time of 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 8 seconds. I'm sorry. That actually describes the seed very well. So hopefully we're going to get Cobb in here for an interview. Stupid seed was from their perspective. I was getting frustrated myself.
Yeah, this seed would have frustrated me because most of those dark rooms I'm not comfortable enough to get through. I am not comfortable enough with.
Yeah, like the story of this seed was you need to do these dark rooms and you need to do these minor glitches in order to get a decent time and avoid double dipping into a ton of dungeons. Kycats making pretty quick work of Cold Stare.
Yes, that's a nice Cold Stare fight.
So I'm assuming at this point he'll probably go up to Turtle Rock since he's shown that he doesn't really want to grab that lantern up there, clear that, and then finish Eastern and Meyer afterwards.
With Lantern in the first chest, I think he may just get the lantern and head right back out. Items we never found. We never found the mirror.
Yeah, I'm actually curious where the mirror was. It's actually probably a boon that the mirror did not show up, because then you have that concern that you would have
because
to go
then
to
you think swamp.
and then there's also the overworld location, checkerboard cave and such. So it gives you the options, but it's
Checkerboard cave is quick. Checkerboard cave and graveyard ledge are relatively quick to check. Swamp, if you're full clearing it, is not.
Right.
And yes, Cats is heading up to Turtle Rock.
But yeah, just what a difficult seed. I just can't get over how many times dip in this one.
Yeah, this was not an easy seed. Cat's gonna open up Turtle Rock. He's gonna find the his lamp in that first chest.
Yeah, we'll
I
see what he
personally
decides to
think
do.
if it were me at that point, I would jump out, because that lamp is all he really needs for go mode.
Right.
So I would
who
jump
cares
out.
what he does.
Yeah, I would. If it's me, I would jump out, finish Eastern, finish Meyer.
What? You can do a pull off the
I did
pod
not
there?
know that.
Dude, that's so cool.
And it looks like Bugnet was on the pedestal.
Alright, so didn't have a pedestal C. Well, we already knew that, but still. We knew Mir couldn't be there at all. Okay, we do have Cobb in the reading room, so hopefully we can get him in here. Yep, that is indeed go mode. Kycats right now. So it looks like
Yes.
he is going to be finishing up Turtle Rock. Just knocking it out. And then going to do Eastern and Eastern and Meyer afterwards.
GG to you, sir.
My head hurts.
My head hurts from just watching that. That was
I'm
that
still
was
trying to
not
figure out
easy
that
scene.
lamp.
Well, you were
So-
expected to. I don't know. You were
Because
expected.
the cane was bow blocked. And Bo, I guess, was in Ice Palace.
Right. Bo was flipper blocked.
Yeah, and I guess you could get, which was flipper blocked, but yeah. Where was the cape?
Cape was in Moldorm Cave, I believe.
Yeah, I
and
think that was
actually-
before.
Kane was not bow blocked. You actually opted to do that dark room instead of getting that instead of going down to that one room. So if you had gone down there and found the cane, you would have had to go back and
Right, but the way the current logic works, all and I could be wrong, but all of the stuff in the back part of pod is not considered accessible until you have the bow, because the randomizer thinks that you could key lock yourself if you go back there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's actually interesting.
Yeah, I learned that like a week ago.
But
And Cats, unfortunately, takes a death in the chain chomp room.
so the main theme of this seed was essentially testing one's knowledge of minor glitches. So,
Yeah. Minor
Um,
glitches in dark rooms. If you could do dark rooms and you could do the Ice Palace bomb jump,
the main difference between you and Cats kind of followed the logic as it went to, and you kind of did a bunch of sequence breaking by knowing how to do like the Ice Palace bomb jump. So the logic wanted you to go into Ice Palace, find the bow, leave Ice Palace, grab the cane, and then go back into Ice Palace because you cannot get the cold stare without using the cane on that last switch before it. So,
Right.
This is a
Oh
rough
yeah.
seed.
Right. You know, and the thing that really got to me is I had only ever done Meyer Dark once before, and if it had gone like it went this time, I wouldn't have done it. But it went really well that first time, so I was like, why not?
yeah, you did a great job with that. You don't see Dark Room Meyer very often. Seeing someone pull that off.
yeah,
Very interesting. to see.
very, very nicely done pulling that off, sir.
Thank you. had half magic and almost used my entire magic bar with that cane, though.
That's definitely probably the trickiest dark room. It's just getting the positioning of that to block correctly in the pitch black. Yeah. So now you're out of your pool, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I placed second in my pool.
Well, congrats. I'm sure that's a huge relief not having to do a 3-way tie second.
Yeah, I was not looking forward to that possibility.
So, kind of what were your thoughts going on throughout this race? I know that we found a lot of pretty early on, and it got to a point where it was just like, where's the bow? Where's Kane? And where are flippers potentially? Like, what was kind of your mentality going into that? Do I check overworld? Do I check dungeons?
You know, a lot of times, and you probably saw it, I would stop for a second, or there was the time that I tried to go to swamp and then realized I didn't have the mirror.
I did
a lot of it
actually.
was like, shoot, the last 30 minutes before I got into Turtle Rock, I was like, what did I forget? I'm never gonna. I think I've done something that I didn't do, which is the biggest nightmare ever, because I couldn't find that lamp, which I was okay with not having. Meyer was my biggest concern, but I knew how much it was entrenched in the logic, so I figured, oh, I missed something major.
And then you finally remember that you had that cape that was found super early, and that you did have the bumper cave still available, right?
Right. You know, and part of the reason that I forgot about it is that normally, you know, it would be something that I very much think about if I had the mirror. But without the mirror, I didn't think about going up there.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird place to go to if you don't have mirror, because usually you'll hit all those places.
Cat's having some trouble with the dark room in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, kind of not remembering the path to take. See if he gets that. The biggest thing I want to ask, actually, is there a reason why you didn't just fake to Ice Palace? And, you know, when you saw the flippers actually going and grabbing them?
That's a good point. Well, I guess
there was still the concern about swamp.
Right, there was the possibility that in Ice Palace I was going to find the mirror, and then I'd have to go back and get the flippers. But yeah, it was right in front of me, and so I just decided to go get it.
Just grab it. Might as well. Can't hurt. But all in all, I mean, your execution was really well. You were pretty much ahead the entire race. There was a few gambles that Kycats took that could have put him ahead, such as finding Quake at Catfish right away. So we're kind of like going over the possibility that Quake would have been needed for Meyer or Turtle Rock, and I mean, who really goes to Catfish at all, except as like a last place to check an item. But unfortunately, a lot of the gambles that he didn't really pay off, and you managed to secure a pretty good win.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually was a little worried and relieved that neither Catfish or Pyramid had a progression item, because I realized that I had forgotten them, and I you can tell I really, really did not want to go into pod without bow or lamp because the logic is just so against that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's funny. That's one of the things we actually talked about before the race started. Is like, what are these two going to do if they're forced visit dungeon?
Yeah.
So, still, yeah, it's kind of rough seed. No, really rough seed. Especially if you had to follow the logic directly. Dark rooms, like I said, really helped you out because instead of having to go from Turok to Mire and Eastern, you're able to just go from Turok to Gannon's Tower after finishing everything else. So it's a good example for anyone who kind of want to see the importance of knowing these to make themselves a little bit more competitive.
Yeah, it certainly inspired me to start trying to learn more of the dark rooms.
I assumed that Kane was his go mode item because he didn't go into the maze, I assume.
Lamp was his go mode item.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, because I didn't. It actually took me a little bit to realize it that I had gotten the tempered sword out of the maze, because obviously you can't see your items.
Our tracker Fluffy noticed that. I mean, we would have seen it otherwise, because like I said, those items don't show up. So
yes,
that could have been. That's a pretty cool surprise. Like, hey, I have tempered.
So hey, if you guys have enjoyed these runners, please give them a follow.
Right, we have we're about halfway probably through this tournament. There's been plenty of good runners, left and right. So if you enjoyed matches, I definitely would recommend giving them a follow. You're gonna see more of them, of course. And yeah, I don't have anything else, at least for Cobb. About yourself?
We've got they've answered pretty much all of my questions. Do you have anything? You have anything, Cobb?
No, I just want to say I appreciate you guys commentating for us, and Fafkins for tracking, and Nalvi for being the restream machine that he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's restreamed. He or she, I don't know, has restreamed like half the tournament.
Yeah, Alvi has put in a ton of work.
Alvi has put in an impressive amount of work restreaming.
Yeah, I do have to start getting ready for work. Please tell kycats GG on finishing this seed, because if I was in his position and I saw that dot done, I would seriously consider just being like, nope.
Yeah, I'd probably be the same. Like, I'm not gonna finish this. But we will definitely pass on that message. Once again, congratulations, and can't wait to see you. And
looking forward to seeing you coming up in the bracket stage.
Thank you very much. You guys have a great day.
You too.
You do as well.
Cat's having a little bit of difficulty with Trinex.
Yeah, thank goodness he had that blue potion. That would have been really to run out of magic this far into.
Master Sword Trinex is not fun.
Right. He was going for the hammer for a while. Man, he's missing so many of these ice rod shots. And I mean, if you can't do this with the full match you get beforehand, as well as a blue potion, you have to be a little bit worried.
Yeah, and Trinex's head hurts a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And then all the ice on the floor.
Ooh. That is a rough death right there.
Well, he does have the safety door.
But it does look like we do have a forfeit. Um, I think that's definitely reasonable. Seeing that dot done already having those 3 additional dungeons or 2 additional dungeons to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, there's no guarantee that you would have been able to finish Trinex. So, respectable forfeit given that seed. Like I said, this was a
Yes,
really
that was a
difficult
rough.
seed.
That was a rough seed.
But I think that should wrap up our side. I mean, congrats again to Cobb for securing his 2nd place into the bracket stage. GG to Kycats for sticking it out as long as he could. Definitely both runners showed a lot of skill during this race, and it's good to commentate it.
Yes, both runners showed a lot of skill, showed a lot of heart. They inspired me to learn a little more about how to do the dark rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And if you enjoyed this race, give these runners a follow.
Definitely. This will not be the last that you see either. Sure. So, I'm sure they definitely appreciate that support.
Also, big shout out. You should give a follow to Flaffykins, our tracker, and Alvi, our restreamer. And
Right.
you should also probably give a follow to JTB, my partner, because he's done a great job.
I would say the same for DM Stewart 1981 as well. But definitely stick around. There's a ton of randomizer races. Definitely not the end of it for now.